Today we're here to talk about Zaha. Now, you know, that's been going around in circles, rumours. Obviously, Chelsea have the ban overturned. So now everyone's getting into their transfer rumours, into, you know, digging their teeth into who they want to sign, who they want to come into the club, who they want to leave the club as well. And our Blue TV sources have said to us that Zaha is very likely. Now, first of all, what do you think of that transfer? I know I've got my own thoughts on it, but I want to get yours as well, first of all.
We look at the team right now. I don't think it's a bad signing at all. He's physically used to and adapted to the Premier League. He's been in the Premier League pretty much all his career, Man United, Crystal Palace. So he knows the Premier League better than an overseas players would know. Anyone from Germany, anyone from Spain, they'd have to get used to that physicality. That's the first point. And he's not been bad for Palace this season. He's created chances. He's scored a couple of goals here and there. And really, he'll be dominant on that left side, I think, for Chelsea. I think that's something we're missing. We're playing the wrong players on that side where they could play in their normal positions. So I think that will give other players such as Pulisic, Mason Mount, more freedom. We saw Mason Mount play on the left side against Bournemouth. I mean, that was a bit of a disaster. So we know how good Mason Mount is as well. So it's disappointing to see him not being able to create what he can create from the left side. So yeah, Wilfried Zaha, not a bad signing at all. Proven in the Premier League physically. So yeah, that's my thoughts. What's yours?
Okay, we're going to do a bit of debate here. So for me, it's a heck no. Yeah. And there's many reasons. First of all, it's the price. Now, reportedly, it's 80 million. I personally don't see Moreno flushing out 80 million for Zaha. That's about 80%, maybe 70% of the Hazard money. That's a lot of money to pay for Zaha.
In this market, though?
How old is he? He's 27. So for me, and his output, I think this season is 3 goals, 3 assists. And I think what we're mainly looking for in this team is a right winger. I think Pulisic has played pretty well on the left. I think Hudson-Odoi's strongest position is probably on the left as well. On the right wing, we don't seem to have anyone, hence Williams being used so often. His output, we know, is atrocious. I think Zaha, obviously, is a good player, but I think the problem with Zaha is that he's got a lot of flicks and tricks, but the output, the end product, and we've seen quotes from Lampard in recent press conferences, the output, the taking of chances, the conversion rate, and Zaha, for me, doesn't fix that. He's got a very low output rate. You see his numbers down the years, they've never been double figures, and I know he plays for Palace, but I don't know, it's a risk.
That's my point. He plays for Palace, and all due respect, Palace don't have the most talented team in the Premiership, so he's not going to create, he's not going to score as many goals as you expect him to, because he doesn't have the support. Now imagine him in that Chelsea team with the likes of Tammy Abraham, Willian, Mason Mount, Kovacic, supporting him, giving him the freedom to do what he, you know, is known to do, and I think he becomes the better player than he was at Crystal Palace. Definitely, it's not just about the player's talent. We know he's not single-handedly the best player in the Premier League. He's not no Eden Hazard. He's not going to replace Eden, no way. Yeah. But with the players around him, he's going to have the right creativity, the right minds, and we've seen so many times, we've seen flushes of creativity this season. So with that in mind, Zaha can be a much better player and definitely a very good signing for Chelsea.
I think it's also quite likely, is why we're discussing this, because if you look at the targets, personally, I prefer Sancho. I think his output's a lot higher. He's reached double figures last year. He's only 19, is another great investment point from the club long term, but he's reached double figures last year. He's already into double figures this year as well at Dortmund, high pressure circumstances he's under, and he operates a lot on the right wing. I know he's played a lot on the left recently, but the majority of his goals and assists were achieved on the right wing from last year. I don't know how Zaha plays on the right wing. I don't know if he's going to be as effective. To be fair to him, he has got 3 goals this season. They've all been with his left foot, so he's clearly not afraid to take opportunities with his left foot, which is something that our team, you know, desperately needs. But the main talking point for me is the price. Would you pay 80 million for Zaha?
It's a very good point.
We got
you got me thinking. 80 million is a lot of money, but we're talking about this day and age, this market. It's changing. I mean, 2 years ago you'd never, you wouldn't pay that for Zaha, but now it's like you've got this situation at Chelsea where we are in need of signings, and I know what you said about Sancho, but to me it just doesn't seem realistic. I don't think we're going to get him, and if we do, that's great. Yeah. But if we don't, we need to make a signing in January ASAP. We need to make a signing, and Zaha seems like there seems like a good chance of him coming, and like I've probably repeated myself 3 times, he's proven in the Premier League. Give him the shot, 80 million. With Chelsea, come on.
Yeah. Well, one point definitely in your favour as well is that he can operate. I think we are looking for someone who can play second fiddle to Tammy as well. I think he can operate that false nine, you know, fairly well. Like you said, he's got experience. I'm personally Zaha out, he's Zaha in. But obviously, guys, let us know in the comments section what you think. Let us know, particularly as well, that fee. What do you make of 80 million for Zaha? Because that's quite a lot of money. I think that would be actually transfer record breaking for us, yes, potentially. Because I think Kepa and Morata were in the 70s. Potentially. There's also the talk as well that you could throw in a Batshuayi and bring the price down. So there's a lot you can do with that deal. So let us know in the comments. First of all, well, lastly, would you want to plug anything, bro?
Follow me on Instagram, Fuadgram, Fuad, and then Gram, and yourself.
And me, you can follow me on Twitter, Matisse Amani. The Instagram, we're leaving that in the dust. And make sure you subscribe to Blues TV. Make sure you follow as well. And yeah, thank you to YouTube Space London for letting us film. And
next one.
We're done.